Hi, welcome to my office at Stanford, where, as you may or may not know, I'm a PhD student. Why are we in my office? Here's the thing, I have this fun idea that I'm going to tell you all the struggles and failures I have had to endure over my 3 years in grad school so far. With the magic of editing, you should be now seeing a timeline of my years in grad school with a very fancy visualization of the journey we're about to undertake. So you can sort of take a look, and if you are dealing with anything challenging, if you are feeling down about yourself, know that I've had these failures. I don't feel bad about myself. I don't think you should feel bad about yourself either. It's normal. This is just your reminder that imposter syndrome is a thing and failure is part of the process. Makes sense, right? And it should be fun. So let's just go ahead and get on it. And we can start at the beginning in 2017, which was my first year doing research in grad school, which is really what we're going to focus on here. So I was pretty lucky in that I got into the lab that I'm currently in right away. And I got assigned to a nice project with a PhD who had already devised it. And yet, when I coded up the stuff that was the core of the idea, and I hit the script to run it, it didn't work. And then for 2 months, it didn't work. And I had to debug and try things and experiment. And I had to debug and try things and experiment. And I had to debug and try things. And it got very close to being cut and just canceled because it wasn't working. And yet I persevered and eventually figured out why it wasn't working and fixed it and managed to submit a paper with it, which was rejected, but still. But that's not a failure, right? That's normal. So let's move on to the juicy stuff, which was next. So right after that project, we started on a follow-up and it didn't work. And this time we couldn't get it to work in time. So after the whole summer trying to get this thing to work for this deadline, we didn't get it to work. The deadline came and passed, and we scrapped the project, and our months of work went to nothing.
Our months of work went to nothing.
Sadly. So, first missed deadline, first scrap project. That was not fun. And it was so not fun that I actually got burned out a little bit and I got clinically depressed and I got very stressed out about applying to grad school at that point, which maybe I'll talk about another time. That's not so fun. Suffice it to say, I had another period of struggle with depression, which with the help of family and friends and a therapist and antidepressants passed within a few months. And then things were better for a while in 2018. So I got a project that we submitted and was accepted. I got into PhD programs. It was going pretty well. And then around the summer, we started on another project, and I owned a part of it that was maybe less in my wheelhouse at that point. And although we did end up submitting to ICRA, the stuff that I was trying to get to work, I didn't get to work in time. So I felt a little bad as part of a team for not delivering kind of what I was trying to do at that point. And the fun part is I kept trying to work on this thing for months so we could include it eventually as part of the thing. Eventually, there was a conversation about priorities, time allocation, etc. And it too was scrapped. So if you're counting second time that months of work went to nothing, really third time, but second serious time, let's say. So that wasn't very fun. But it was a very, very educational experience. I mean, this thing that wasn't my wheelhouse that I didn't understand as well, I learned so much and I understood so much more. So again, as usual, when you hit failure, the important thing is to learn from it and move on. And I did. I did learn a lot from it, and I did move on. And what came next was last year, which was maybe my biggest year of failures so far. So I don't know if that's a bad sign or a good sign that it's kind of increasing, but I guess we'll see. So last year, first there was this project cancellation, what I already mentioned. Then there was this period of slog once again, where I was trying to get something to work that I wasn't sure would work. and really struggling with an idea and iterating on it and iterating on it and iterating on it, which again is normal and is how things are supposed to go. But I mean, sometimes you figure out something, you submit the paper, you just iterate on it, and that's all nice and easy. Sometimes you have periods, months of slogging through something until you finally uncover the thing that works and that merits a paper. But we did. We uncovered that thing and we submitted, and that was really fun and great. And then there was the summer again, and maybe I just am not good at working over the summer because once again, I missed my deadline. Now in this case, this was an internship, so it was a 3-month kind of budget of time, and suffice it to say, I didn't allocate resources correctly, I didn't think ahead, whatever, many things, missed the deadline. And not just that, I tried to keep working on it for a couple months until I realized that I couldn't do Stanford and this other project. It was just not manageable, so the project got scrapped. So that's the third time that months of work and something that I was really excited about and hoped could be a paper and really tried, it had to be mercifully put out of its misery. And then there's last month, there's 2020. So one thing in 2019 that was also fun is that I had 2 fellowship rejections. I had NDSEG in April, followed by the Qualcomm Innovation Fellowship in May. And then at the very start of the year, January 9th, I had my 3rd fellowship application rejected for the PD Soros Fellowship. So that's 0 out of 3 so far. And then a week ago, there was the RSS deadline, which we also missed. Now, we missed it for a good reason of really understanding the thing more and having a greater scope, and the project I don't think will be scrapped. But if you're counting, that's the 3rd or 4th missed deadline so far. So I've had 3 scrapped projects, 3 or 4 missed deadlines, 3 or 4 periods of real struggle and slogging that in some cases paid off, in some cases didn't, and 3 fellowships that I did not get. So that's the summary so far over 3 years where I'm at. And I wouldn't say I'm exceptional, I'm not some kind of rock star. Obviously it would be better if I got the fellowships and I got the papers. But at the same time, I feel pretty confident that I don't suck. I'm at least, okay or kind of good as a grad student. So this is normal. This is, again, part of a process. Failure, sometimes feeling like an imposter, sometimes feeling like you could have done better. Learning from being bad, that's all supposed to be something you experience. Or so I tell myself after years of these failures and disappointments. And so I tell you in this video, right? So there it is, okay? That's my portfolio of failures and disappointments. It's probably not that impressive, it's only 3 years, and if you go back, there's many more, and if you go forward, there's gonna be many more. The only point is, this stuff doesn't get discussed often, people don't put this out there, people try to show off and only list their achievements and so on. So I wanted to put this forward for anyone who has failures recently or feeling down. Enjoy my failures, let them remind you that it's okay, and that you just gotta keep going, and that it'll work out. Okay? Thank you for watching, and I don't know, tell me your failures in the comments. You can email me if you want, I don't know, whatever you want. Thanks for watching.